Criticism has been debated for a while on the internet. Should artists take it or simply ignore it? Today we're going to be discussing criticism to truly answer that question, that I hope you already know the answer to. Anyways, sit back, grab a snack, and let's get on to this video. Criticism is the analysis or judgment of flaws and faults in artistic work. I'm going to be very clear here. If you're going to post any type of artistic craft on the internet, expect to get some feedback on it. It might be in the form of constructive or in the less desired form of unsolicited criticism. I feel like this is starting to become a more common trend of people simply not accepting criticism and automatically labeling it as unsolicited or harassment. From personal beliefs, I strongly believe criticism is a way to go when it comes to improving your craft. Unsolicited or not, which we'll explain later on in this video why I believe that. Harsh criticism is the common stereotypes in all forms of criticism. But as we will learn in this video, not all criticism is like this. Harsh criticism is more of an unpleasant way of giving a critique. Far away from being very soft, but borderline saying your art sucks. Harsh criticism is something that a lot of artists need to face no matter what, especially if you're planning to go to art school and turning your art into a job in the future. It's probably the most effective method because it sticks to the artist more than a soft critique. The best way to even handle harsh criticism or any type of criticism is to simply not take it personally. Now let's talk about the more controversial part of criticism, unsolicited. So what is unsolicited criticism? It's pretty much criticism that is unwanted at the time. This is the part where a lot of people fight. One side is pretty much saying, well, if you post your art on the internet, expect some form of criticism, which I do believe is true. But just because you post your art on the internet doesn't automatically make you open for critiques, which is technically another side of that debate. But if you don't want critiques and you're receiving them, the best way to go about this is to simply ignore them when you receive them. Then, a lot of people on one side argue that artists should not receive criticism if they're doing it just for fun. And I definitely see where people are technically coming from. I see people who aren't really taking art in a very serious manner and they just do it to deal around and kill some time. But if you're doing art as a hobby, I still think strongly that you would want to at least improve your artwork just a little bit. A lot of artists also expand that hobby into doing things like commissions to make a quick buck to keep supporting their hobby. But to get commissions, you need to have art that is pleasing to a demographic. And when you're improving, you help widen that demographic to get potential customers. Even if you don't want to make money, this is true if you want to put yourself out there just in the slightest. And at least considering criticism is probably the best way to go. So how can you provide good criticism to an artist, and how as an artist can you take criticism? Simple. If you're going to approach artists to provide criticism, make sure there's actual indications that they want. If it is unclear, maybe ask them first, or simply be soft when you first start to approach them. I found the best way to provide criticism is to compliment the artist on things that you do like first about the artwork. As an example, say, hey, the way you draw eyes is really amazing. It really captures my attention and sets the whole mood of the piece. Then slowly but surely work your way into the actual critique. Like, for example, as a simple recommendation, I would try working on your anatomy, especially the legs, because they look very disproportionate to the rest of the body. This is constructive criticism. Constructive criticism is a process of offering valid and well-reasoned opinions about works of others, usually involving both positive and negative comments, in a friendly manner rather than an oppositional one. This is why it's more beneficial to give constructive comments than harsh ones. And as an artist, when you receive your criticism, filter out what you think is the most beneficial to your art and Discard things that are unuseful or more or less just mean shit people say just to get on your nerves. Don't get mad at someone if they critique your art and you don't want it. Simply either say thank you or ignore it and move on with your life. And please, for the love of God, don't get offended if somebody critiques you. Criticism is not a form of harassment, people. Just either ignore it and move on with your life. So, a question of this video was, is criticism bad? The answer to that is no, it isn't. People need to be more considerate when they give and receive criticism. Like I said before, criticism isn't a way to harass creators. It's literally just a form of giving people advice to help artists or creators improve their craft. So just take this all into account when you're receiving and giving criticism.